everybody, I'm Nick Richards, the Renegade Trucker. This is Trucking Business Insider. On this episode, we are going to be talking about getting equipment financed. And what does it take to get equipment financed? And a couple of guys, you might be out there looking around, asking questions, going, okay, what do I want to do? I want to get my own truck. How do I get into my own truck? Trucks cost a lot of money, even for the trucks which are the best to run, which are the pre-emissions trucks. You're still spending usually north of $30,000 to get one of those trucks, sometimes north of $50,000. That's a lot of money to come up with, and at that point, you're still coming up with a truck that's 12 years old at this point because emissions started at the end of 2003. So you're looking at taking a 12-year-old truck, paying a bunch of money for it, putting a bunch more money in it, and getting back on the road. So how do you do that? Well, it is tough, and there's a lot of different options out there that everybody considers. A lot of people go, hey, I could buy this truck I'm driving from the carrier that I'm working for, or I could do a lease program for the carrier that I'm working for, or things like that. You don't want to do that. Here's the thing in business, is there's a saying that goes, everyone's your brother until the rent comes due. And another saying is there are no friends in business. Business is business, and in business you do not have friends. You have people that you work with. You have companies that you work with. It's all about the bottom line. At the end of the day, a business exists on two pieces of paper. Accounts receivable and accounts owed. That's it. And the difference between those two is the profit. When you get outside of those two ledgers, everything else is just fluff. Sure, you can develop good relationships with people at companies you work with, and you're very fortunate when you can do that. It's a very good thing. But at the end of the day, a business really just exists on those two pieces of paper. And when your own interests become contrary to the business's interest, you're out in the cold. You're out on your own. So here's what I want you guys to understand is when you're in business, and you want to have the situation you're in where you can sever ties easily if need be. If you're leased to a carrier and that carrier isn't treating you right, you need to be able to pick up, get up, and walk out the door. And the first key to that is don't believe the bullshit they tell you. That's what it boils down to. I have seen countless people over the years. They'll go into one of these carriers and they'll get talked into a lease purchase on a truck, or a lease on a truck, or just a straight purchase, whatever it is you want to call it. I mean, we like to call them fleece purchases because that's what you're really doing when you sign one of these is you're getting fleeced. It's good for the company. It's a great deal. They're going to tell you what a great deal it is because it is a great deal for them. They get to lock you into making the payments on their truck. They get to run you as much as they need you, and you're locked in. You can't leave or you lose the truck. And they'll tell you, oh, it's a walk-away lease. You don't like it, you leave it. Well, what about all the money you spent on that truck? What about all the time you invested paying for that truck? Does that not account for anything? You don't want to be in that situation because every time you do something like that, you will lose. Plain and simple. You get into a lease purchase, the chances are you will lose. There's enough of the stories floating around out there. There's enough of the people who've been through that. Don't fall into that trap. And mainly the people that fall into that trap are the people that are just coming into this business. The people that are just getting started. They start on that lease purchase, they get going on it, and they find out the hard way that what happens is they make a couple of years worth of payments on that truck, and the next thing they know, they stop getting miles. They stop getting payments. And all of a sudden, they wind up owing the company money. And that's a horrible situation to be in. You get a settlement, and you find out that you owe the company $1,000, $1,500. You don't want to be in that situation because what they're going to do is this. Is they're going to run you like that, and they'll cut your miles back. They'll cut your loads back. They'll cut you down. And the reason they do this is they know that when they cut your loads and everything back, that you won't be able to make the payments. And when you don't make the payments, they're going to come and they're going to take that truck back, and they're going to turn around and sell it to the next guy. It's all part of this big disposable business cycle scam where they use you as the driver as a disposable commodity. They have you run the truck for them for a certain amount of time. They screw you, and then they move on to the next guy that they're going to screw over. You don't want to get into that. So when it comes to financing a piece of equipment, here is what you're going to need. Is you're going to need a bunch of money down. There's just no two ways around it. To get a big truck, you need money down. If you're getting into a no money down deal, you're probably getting a bad deal. Generally, the number is about $20,000 down, and you're saying, "Oh, well, God, Nick, how do I come up with $20,000?" Hey, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Sometimes it's just a matter of having the right collateral. Like, let's say you own the home you're in, you might put your truck up against the home as collateral, which I don't really recommend doing, because if your trucking business fails, your home, is also going to get taken away when that business fails. So, that could make you broke and homeless altogether there. So that's not really a good idea. But maybe you have other assets, cars, things like that, things you can sell to get that money, and there's also just the good old-fashioned way of working for that money and saving it. If you go out and you save hard and you put your money into an investment account, and you put your money away and you manage it wisely, you become financially literate, you'll get that money together. It's just a matter of working hard and doing it. It might mean eating some more peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and going out for a few less steak dinners. If that's the sacrifice you've got to make, if you really want to do this and you want to do it right, that is what you're going to do. When it comes to getting a piece of equipment finance, one of the most important things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go shopping for a bank. If you have a bank that you have a long-standing history with, you do stand a pretty good chance of getting a loan with them. But there's a lot of different other options out there, and what you need to do is you need to go look at those options. You need to sort through those options, and you need to find out what your best option is going to be, because, banks, they do compete for each other's business. So if you have one bank over here, they're looking at you and they're saying, oh, well, we're going to give you, let's say they're going to give you 12% interest rate. You might be able to go up the street and get an 8.5% interest rate at another bank. It is that possible. That happened to me when I was looking at getting the blue truck. I had one bank that was going to give me one interest rate, I believe, which I wasn't going to take them up on it because the interest rate was ridiculous that they were offering. It was something around the range of 15%. And on the truck that I have now, I'm paying just a little over 9%. The loan I got, just because I called around to a few different banks. And to be bluntly honest, my credit was in trouble when I did this, and I still managed to get the loan. I still managed to get it at 9.5%. So, to say that it can't be done, the people that are the naysayers, don't listen to them. It can be done. When you're getting ready to approach the bank, this is what you're going to need, is you're going to need a solid, detailed business plan. You're going to need to show them that you are business-minded. You just walk in and say, hi, I'd like to borrow $50,000 to go buy this truck. If you can't speak as though you know what you're doing, you're not going to have a chance in the world. And the first person you're going to deal with at the bank that has any clout over what's going on is the loan analyst or loan officer. And what you need to do is you need to develop a personal relationship with that person. You need to go in, you need to talk to that person. You might not even be ready to pull the trigger on a truck yet. There's nothing that says you can't go down, go into a bank, sit down and talk to a loan officer and introduce yourself, find somebody you mesh with, and start having a conversation with that person. That's what I did when I got my truck. I started with this loan officer at this bank. This bank came highly recommended to me. And even though I believe the first two loans I applied for there, they turned me down, I got the third. And why? Because I was persistent, and because they could see that I wasn't somebody that was going to give up, and I was dedicated to doing it. So the first two times got turned down, the third I got it. And so the story is there. It's about not quitting. It's about being persistent. When you continue to go back to that loan officer, the conversation should go like this. You're going to go in and you're going to start with them, and you're going to talk to them. And it's not even, hey, I want to buy a truck today. It's, I really want to get into business for myself. I'm looking at borrowing money from your bank. I want to see if we're going to be a good fit for each other. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm looking at. I'm still in the process of educating myself, making sure that this is what I want to get into. This is my previous experience. I've driven for this long. Have a conversation about it. It just so works out that the loan officer at the bank that I dealt with also has a CDL. He used to be a truck driver. And so we were able to have some very good conversations. And you might be surprised at the amount of people you will find in that situation. There are a lot of people out there that have driven truck and then gone on to do other things. So it'll just surprise you who you're going to bump into sometimes. And also a lot of the people that wind up financing trucks used to drive a truck themselves because they know what it's about. At the same time, that's a double-edged sword, because you're not going to be able to go in and baffle that person with bullshit. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't be able to. That's wrong. I mean, that is fraud, is what it is. So you need to be straight up with what it is you're doing. Playing games, pulling things, lying to the bank isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to be honest about your situation. And you need to be honest about mistakes you've made. I mean, I don't know too many people out there today that haven't made financial mistakes. I don't know anybody that hasn't made mistakes, period. But financial mistakes are a big one, and it's something that's affected a lot of people over here the last few years. So when you're starting to have that initial conversation with the bank, that's what you need to be honest about. They're going to pull your credit. They're going to look at you. You can get the guidance from them, though. They'll tell you exactly what they want to see from you. It's not like this big, shrouded mystery of that you have to turn knob A and push button B the right amount of times to get a loan from a bank. I mean, they will tell you exactly what they're looking for from you. In the conversations I had with my bank, that's exactly what it was. And I went in and I went above and beyond. And this is probably why I got the truck loan when I did, because I went in, I went above and beyond. I did a video business plan. And they had never had anyone on a truck before do a video business plan. And because I did a video business plan, I went in and I showed them, loads on the trailer, the truck I was moving, everything I was doing. Naturally, you guys aren't going to have access to that if you're just getting your first truck. But you can film stuff that's on the truck you're driving now, because you're not going to buy your first truck without any experience. I mean, if you're watching this channel and you're thinking, I'm going to go buy a truck and then get a CDL, you're in for a very rude awakening. You need to learn to drive first. Don't learn this all at once. But for those of you that you're working for somebody else right now, you're out there running up and down the road, film what it is you're doing a little bit. Make a video business plan. Impress your banker. Show them you're willing to go the extra mile to get the job done, and they are way more likely to loan money to you. I mean, they did for me, and when I got my loan, my credit was still suffering from when I broke my back and had to shut my company down the hard way. And that really hurt me financially because I was not a corporation at the time, so it came back on me personally.